everybody, and welcome once again to Real Shame. It's a show where the two of us talk about our list of movie blind spots or our list of shame. My name is Andy.
And I'm Adam.
And on this week's episodes, we're going to do a couple of movies that I have never seen. But before we get into today's movie that we're going to talk about, we always like to talk about what we have been watching lately. So, Mr. Adam, what have you been watching lately?
Watched two new releases. I don't know if they're going to be new releases. Well, they won't be new releases, obviously, when these episodes drop. But I've been watching two new releases. I watched the new John Clancy movie, Without Remorse, starring Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, not the basketball player.
Not the basketball player, hence the B.
All right.
It was not great. I mean, yeah. Like, some of the action was cool, but overall, it's very, very, it's not great.
Okay.
I'd skip it if you were watching that. And the other one I watched was the new and that's on Amazon Prime. The other movie I watched is new on Netflix, I believe, and it's The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Okay. So
this is produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller. You would know them from the 21, 22 Jump Streets. You would know them from the Lego movie. They directed that. One of them directed Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse and all that kind of stuff. So they kind of do these, they do these really good movies, obviously, from all those other ones. And they didn't direct this one. They kind of produced it and stuff like that. And I thought it was okay. I think the hype leading up to it probably ruined the movie for me a little bit.
Right.
I agree with a lot of the criticism out there, which is just like, this movie gets a little too fantastical, and it would have been better if it was kind of less of that. But it's it's only an hour and a half, so it's not like a big ass to watch it, and the animation is really cool and interesting. Like, that's what Sony has kind of been doing lately with the animation. That's been interesting. They kind of started with Into the Spider-Verse, where they're kind of mixing different textures or mixing 3D and 2D and all that kind of stuff, and making it look less like cookie cutter as like some animation kind of does. Kind of all looks the same, so they kind of have been innovating in that aspect of it. So I think that's worth the time alone on it.
Cool.
So those are the two things that I've been watching. What have you been watching?
A couple of older films. So first of all, watched a movie called The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, directed by Curtis Hanson, who also did LA Confidential and Wonder Boys, both of which we've talked about on this show. Obviously, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is prior to both of those films. It's got Rebecca De Mornay, Annabella Shura, what's his name? Winston Zebulon Pike or whatever. Ernie Hudson himself from Ghostbusters. It's not really that great. It's kind of a thriller where Rebecca De Mornay tries to kind of steal Annabella Shura's baby because anyway, it's lesser Curtis Hanson. I'll say that. I think the movie's really slow. And in addition to that, a movie that actually we watched. With Carl Weathers and Craig T. Nelson, Coach himself. Actually, the movie's got all kinds of people in it.
Yeah, it does.
Carl Weathers and Craig T. Nelson in Action Jackson.
Speaking of slow.
Not as action packed as we would have liked, but still
Action Jackson.
It's fun enough for what it is. It's got Bill Duke in it. Got a lot of different people in it, so it's kind of a fun. You could do a lot better, or do a lot worse, I guess, than a movie like Action Jackson. But yeah, it's a shame it doesn't have as much action in it as it should have. But anyway, it's still kind of a fun late '80s movie.
Yeah, so. I think it was worth watching.
Yeah,
just for
at least once.
Yeah,
at least once. So that's what I've been watching. So let's get into today's movie, which is.
Well, we're continuing the trend we did last week with another Shakespeare adaptation. And this one is 1948's Hamlet.
And now, our cousin Hamlet, and our son. How is it that the clouds still hang on you?
Good Hamlet, cast thy nighted colour off, and let thine eye look like a friend on Denmark. Do not forever with thy lowered lids seek for thy noble father in the dust. Thou know'st 'tis common. All that lives must die, passing through nature to eternity.
Aye, madam, it is common.
If it be, why seems it so particular with thee?
Seems, madam? Nay, it is, I know not seems. 'Tis not alone my inky cloak, good mother, nor customary suits of solemn black, together with all forms, modes, shows of grief that can denote me truly. These indeed seem, for they are actions that a man might play. But I have that within which passeth show, these but the trappings and the suits of woe.
All right, we're going to dig into the tragedy of Hamlet, written by one William Shakespeare in Hamlet. This is starring and directing Laurence Olivier, I think is how you say his name.
Yep.
He doesn't want to be called Lawrence Oliver.
Nope.
No one does.
Nope.
This was written by William Shakespeare sometime between 1599 and 1601. It's one of his longest plays, and it's about the Prince of Denmark. Probably the play I know the most of from Shakespeare. I think it's the one I ended up, for whatever reason, studying more in school than all of his other plays. It's a movie that I haven't seen, but it's also a movie that you haven't seen.
Nope.
So it's your week. I'm letting you start off. What'd you think of Hamlet? And what'd you think? So wait, you've seen other versions of Hamlet, obviously, right?
Yeah, I've seen the Mel Gibson one. I actually think we watched the Mel Gibson one in my English class.
Okay.
On VHS.
Nice.
Yes, VHS. And I've also seen the 4-hour long Kenneth Branagh one as well. And I've seen the one that we mentioned with Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
I think those are the three that I've seen.
And what'd you think? What'd you know about this one going into it? And what'd you think of it?
I mean, I knew it was Laurence Olivier, kind of his baby or whatever. So I'll say, like you said, you've read Hamlet, right?
Yep.
You read it in English class or whatever. So have I. I think probably most English classes concentrate on Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet the most.
Yeah,
I think I might have read Macbeth when I was in school as well, but I never read things like King Lear or like Much Ado About Nothing, which we've already done on the show. I never read anything like that. But yeah, Hamlet, I'm pretty familiar with. I know I've read the play probably more than once, seen different movie adaptations of it. But yeah, this is one that has always kind of eluded me. I know Laurence Olivier also did Richard III, which is in the Criterion Collection. But Hamlet itself, it at least is not available on Blu-ray in North America.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's on HBO Max right now. But anyway, getting off the subject there. I really liked this movie, actually. I thought it was really, really atmospheric. I liked, kind of the black and white, cinematography and whatnot. Even though it is, I think, 2.5 hours long, I actually was never really bored with it. I thought, it's pretty much, it sticks to the play. I know I was reading that, of course, he cuts out the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern characters completely. He cuts out, what's his name, Fortinbras, which is another major character who's in, what is it, Norway, I think? He's like the king of Norway or something like that. So they're worried about a war between Norway and Denmark. That's completely jettisoned from it. And I know he took some criticism for that, but honestly, I didn't miss it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that familiar with Hamlet. I mean, I know who Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are, obviously, but I didn't miss those characters not being there. The movie itself, I thought, was really, really somber and serious, but Hamlet is really somber and serious.
He's kind of emo.
He is kind of emo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the cinematography was good. I thought the set design and everything, like the castles, all that setting was good. Obviously, the acting is good. Laurence Olivier was a terrific Shakespearean British actor. But I really liked it, and I like the fact that we get a Grand Moff Tarkin sighting because Peter Cushing's in it.
Peter Cushing's in it.
A little bit later in the film.
Peter Cushing's.
Yeah. But I thought that was cool. But overall, I mean, I didn't really have any major complaints. I thought that it's Shakespeare done right. I would rather watch this movie than watch like Much Ado About Nothing. Honestly, this doesn't have bad Keanu Reeves acting to wear it down or anything like that. But no, overall, I thought it was cool. I thought the ghost was cool. His father, the ghost of his father, that kind of stuff was really neat. But overall, I enjoyed it. Yeah,
very cool.
What about you?
Yeah,
you've never seen it either. So.
No, I've never seen it either. I liked it. It kind of reminded me a lot of Citizen Kane, just like in the way it's shot and like like you said, how atmospheric it is. I thought it had very cool like transitions when it was like going up the stairs and all that kind of stuff. And I just thought like it felt almost like a stage production because you didn't get like a lot of background. Like it was like everyone's kind of like in these voids and kind of talking and doing this stuff, and you get some foreground elements, but it's just kind of like it falls off really quickly and just feels like it's this really intimate thing and all that kind of stuff.
Got like the deep focus, and everything. Yeah.
I mean, see, I'm again like, should I criticize Shakespeare? Probably not.
No, you can. He's dead. He's not gonna come after you. He's not gonna hit you up on Twitter.
Yeah, he's not. I think the part where Hamlet goes off to war and all that kind of stuff just kind of like lags and all that kind of stuff. And I know, it's not really telling. And maybe it's because the stuff gets excised, but I really feel like it's not really telling the story that is what we're trying to hear to see, right? Which is that, Hamlet's, mom married his uncle, and his uncle's taking over the throne, and Hamlet thinks that his uncle murdered his father and doesn't think he should be in charge of the throne.
Right.
And so it's just like we kind of take this like detour away from it, and I don't think maybe I'm misremembering things, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we like learns anything new or any of that kind of stuff. And it's just like, why are we taking this detour? Like, I'd rather just be back at the castle with all the intrigue and stuff like that. And I think Hamlet finally learns what happens when, he's having the sword battle with his with that guy, and his dad just basically confesses, right?
Right.
That guy.
Laertes.
Laertes, there you go. Hey, that's what we call him in this household. That guy.
Well, so Claudius sends Hamlet off to England with the intention of having him killed when he's there.
Yes.
So there is some importance to it.
But he doesn't die. And
he doesn't die.
He doesn't come close to death.
No, that's true. He comes right back.
Yeah. So for me, it just feels like filler. I mean, so that's kind of where, again, it's Shakespeare, and he's done more in his life than I'm ever going to do in my life. So take that for what it's worth. But for me, like I like, I don't know. I don't know if you can do Shakespeare in a way that I would think it's more succinct and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But other than that, I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was well acted. And I like I said, it's the same thing we kind of talked about with, Seahawk and with Citizen Kane and with Casablanca. I just really like this black and white aesthetic, and like the cinematography for it and all that kind of stuff just really makes it stand out, and it just looks really crisp and really nice. So it's like a very visual pleasure and all that kind of stuff, and watching and stuff like that.
Yeah, and obviously this being Shakespeare, there's a ton of quotable stuff in it. You know, to be or not to be. Last poor Yorick, I knew him well, a fellow of infinite jest. So Ophelia was played by Gene Simmons, and no, not Gene Simmons from Kiss, different Gene, spelled Jean Simmons. But Ophelia died. She basically goes crazy. And then she dies. She drowns. She falls in the stream and drowns. And I didn't hear the part because I know Gertrude, which is Hamlet's mother, says "sweets to the sweet." I don't know if they actually say that in this movie, but that makes me think of Candyman, "Sweets to the sweet" or "Sweets for the sweet." So it all ties together. All this stuff. My
favorite quotable line is the beginning where he's like, "'Tis bitter cold and I'm sick" or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the one that I don't know for some reason.
And I don't remember the whole little soliloquy of what is man? What is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me, nor woman either. Yada. I think that might have been excised, or maybe I just missed that part. I don't know.
So if you're watching this for school, Hamlet, just know that they excise a few parts and you might miss that. So read the what are the Spark Notes or whatever they call them?
Cliff Notes?
Cliff Notes and Spark Notes of it.
Sparky's Cliff Notes. But it does have Polonius's advice to Laertes, which is also like really, neither a borrower nor a lender be, to thine own self be true. Does have that whole thing, which I actually had to memorize that when I was in English class. Yeah, we had to like get up in front of the class or something and say that.
Ours was the Julius Caesar thing that we had to memorize. Friends, Roman countrymen, lend me your ears. I've come here to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that lives within a man. That stuff.
Keep going.
I think that's as far as I go.
We had to get up and say Polonius's advice to Laertes, and we also had to say the first little part of the Canterbury Tales. Wander April with his shore suta and all that nonsense.
Was that an Italian accent or?
No, it's like Old English.
Old English.
You're like Wander April with his shore suta. The drought of March hath pierced to the ruta. Maybe I'm doing an Italian accent. I'm not trying.
No, not
to.
Italian. I was thinking like Irish or Scottish or something.
I don't
like
know. But that's how we had to say it. We had to say it in that Old English. Damn you, Geoffrey Chaucer. We had to do that. Okay.
But
anyway.
hey, Geoffrey Chaucer gave us A Knight's Tale, which I think is pretty awesome.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to add. I do have a couple notes on here that this was the first British or non-American film to win the Oscar for Best Picture.
Yes.
And so this is, as a result, this is the first foreign film to win Best Picture. Mm-hmm. And also with this film, Laurence Olivier became the first person to ever direct himself to have a Best Actor Oscar. And then it says, was that Life is Beautiful is the only other actor, but is that true? Because I don't know when that trivia was written.
I have no idea if somebody has done it since Roberto Benigni has done it in 1997, but...
Did Affleck win Best Actor for Argo? I know Argo kind of did well.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. God, Roberto Benigni in Life is Beautiful. I find him insufferable.
I've never seen Life
honestly.
is Beautiful.
I mean, the movie itself is good, but he is insufferable to me. Yeah, he's like at an 11 or a 12 all the time. And he definitely was at an 11 or 12 during the Academy Awards in 1998 when he won that. Yeah, he was like standing up on the seats and just going crazy.
Living his best life.
He was living his best life, but I was not living my best life as I watched him. All right, so this movie's 95% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, 80% audience score, and Leonard Maltin gives it 1, 2, 3, 4 estrellas, 4 stars.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he loved it.
Now say it in Danish.
I don't know what it is in Danish.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, and the pair with Hamlet, I'm kind of continuing our trend that we did last week of Shakespeare or films based on Shakespeare plays and stuff like that. And I wanted to do another film that's kind of based, maybe loosely based on Shakespeare's play.
Yeah.
And Akira Kurosawa has made at least 2. He's made Throne of Blood, and he's also made Ran. And I haven't seen Ran, and I'm always game for a Akira Kurosawa movie. And I hear it's really well regarded. So I figured, why not pair Hamlet with something a little bit different, but kind of from the same origins. And so next week, in a few days, Wednesday, we're going to watch Ran, and we'll review that for your viewing pleasure. So stay tuned for that. All right. Well, if you've seen Laurence Olivier's Hamlet and you feel different than we do, let us know. Leave a comment down below or shoot us an email, realshame@gmail.com. At that email address, we also answer viewers' questions that are sent to us. So please send us those viewer questions. Like, subscribe, share the show, do all that social media stuff because it really does help spread the word. And we really do appreciate that. And stay tuned to... did I say we're on social media at Real Shame on Instagram. And stay tuned in a couple of days. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Stay tuned in a couple of days as we come back around and talk about Ran. Or Akira Kurosawa's version of King Lear, which is Ran. We'll see you soon, guys. Bye.